Hi, welcome to Journey of the Heart, the path of conscious love, and we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Le Vampire Oracle. Right, so what chapter are we actually up to here? Where we are out to actually, this is kind of interesting, we are up to chapter 15. We are up to part 4 by the looks of it. Okay, surrender. Okay, honouring each other's wisdom and strength means that both partners must be willing to surrender when the occasion calls for it. Indeed, marriage teaches us a great deal about the importance and surrender in our life as a whole. Now remember, when I'm talking about marriage, I'm talking about any sort of commitment within the relationship. A marriage does not necessarily have to be in the normal sense or the traditional sense. Maybe marriage for you is something maybe like a hand fasting, a commitment ceremony. Maybe you have this whole ritual where you connect with each other and that is your marriage. Okay, so let's have a look here. So the thing is about surrendering. So we're using Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Le Vampire's Oracle. So let's have a look and see what message we get with the cards in regards to this topic. So let's just open up. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Take a nice deep breath. Have a nice thought. Let's just take a moment to breathe. And we're thinking about surrendering. So we're thinking about surrendering. So let's have a look at this. Nice deep breath. We're thinking about surrendering. Surrendering. What are we surrendering to in regards to marriage? What does it mean to surrender? Okay. Interesting combination of cards here. Okay, for me, straight away, I'm sort of getting 3 of Pentacles. It's about being creative. Okay, I think it's about hard work. With 3 of Pentacles to me is about expansion and growth. Okay, I think there's a lot of expansion and growth in regards to surrendering with marriage. I think there's a sense of, that commitment to that relationship. I do feel like there is work to be done. It's a creative process. Okay, interesting. We've got 9 of Chalices, so it's a wish fulfilled. I feel like it's a sense of, I feel like there's things always happening behind the scenes emotionally. It's not always what's on the surface. I do feel like there's a bit of an emotional background stuff going on here. It does feel like it's a gain. It's an emotional gain. It's a wish fulfilled in regards to that. Okay, kind of interesting. I got 4 of Pentacles, but I get that sense of 4 of Pentacles can be also reversed in that sense of things being let free, not holding on to stuff. And I think that's really important here, because there are aspects, kind of interesting, because I've got the Devil card here, and so I do feel that sometimes maybe marriage in a perspective sense could be that you're chained to the situation, but there's also a sense of breaking the rules in a way. I get a sense of sort of breaking the rules. It's a chance for you to maybe face your own demons. There's a lot of aspects, a lot of layers to these cards as I look at them here, as I think about the sense of like the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of Chalices, 4 of Pentacles reversed, and the Devil. So I'm getting a sense of surrendering with marriage is the big thing here, or surrendering within the relationship. I think it's a lot about not holding on to stuff is really important here. Being able to, in a way, I get the sense about facing your demons is quite strong here. Maybe there's some stuff that needs to be looked at deeply. Maybe there are some restrictions within the marriage, and I think that can be important. There are some restrictions within the relationship, which is valuable to the journey. I think there are some things that need to be let go of, but there's also that restrictions which are important. Those things that are sort of chain you to the relationship is that commitment, that sense of the wish fulfilled. It is important. There are some things. I think it's a commitment. I do feel like there's a commitment to the journey. Okay, so I do get the Three of Stakes here and the Queen of Stakes with the Knight of Stakes, which is kind of interesting. So the Three of Stakes to me is there are moments when you've just got to stand still. Okay, you've got to reflect on the past, contemplate your future, your goals, your dreams that you want within the relationship. I think it's very important to have this sense of be confident in the relationship, be bold, be energetic, be passionate as well. And you've got allowing things, that Knight of Stakes is that sense of, I do get that swift movement, but also about the sense of intense passion. I do feel like there is a deep passion here. And it's it's sort of a young passion, but it's not childlike. I definitely feel it's more a young adult energy, that sort of partying energy. I do get that sense of partying a little bit. So I do feel like in the relationship has to be a bit of a party energy as well. Is that sense of having that balance. I get a sense of balance within this here. This working hard in the relationship. I think a relationship, when you surrender to it, it is work. It is a sense of, it does take effort. I do feel like there's some sort of effort there. There is that sense of, your wish being fulfilled. There is that sense of letting go of some things. There's some things that you're not to hold on to, but there are some restrictions within a relationship, and that's important part of the process here. And I think there is a moment of just taking a moment to breathe, to have a moment to reflect, to contemplate, to look at where you've been and where you're headed, to have that sense of passion, nurturing that passion, being able to be creative as you move forward. Have a bit of a party. I want to say, I just keep getting this sort of party energy within the relationship as well is kind of important. So there is that balance of working and playing hard is what I'm getting here. That work and play hard energy. Okay, so let's have a look here. So what do lay vampires say about surrender? Okay, it's important. Again, you get that sense of confidence. You have that faith. You trust the process. You trust your partner. That's part of the relationship. That surrender is that you actually trust. You trust the process. You trust your partner. There's no unquivering belief that things are going to work out. There's no doubt. There's a sense of being honor. I think it's a sense of honouring yourself, honouring your partner, being able to have the know that things are working out in the best possible way. Again, I get that wish fulfilled. I do get that sense of things working out. You believe that things are going to work the way they're supposed to. You trust. I do get that trust. You honour your partner. You believe in what they're doing. You don't question them in any way. You surrender to the relationship. I do get that there very much. So let's take a nice deep breath as we continue this chapter here. Surrender. Honouring each other's wisdom and strength means that both partners must be willing to surrender when the occasion calls for it. Indeed, marriage teaches us a great deal about the importance of surrender in our life as a whole. The notion of surrender is widely misunderstood in our culture. And like commitment and intimacy often brings up fear. It conjures up images of come out with your hands up, waving a white flag, admitting defeat, losing power. Yet, if we understand it right, surrender does not have to mean giving up power or freedom. As an act of putting wisdom and truth above our personal ambitions or beliefs. It helps us align ourselves with the natural order of things. The ability to surrender is central to any graceful or creative activity, whether we are appreciating the sights, sounds, and tastes of the world, dancing, making love, or simply listening to another person. Life continually calls on us to yield control and to open to what is beyond us. We cannot ultimately control what happens to us or have our way on this earth, if only because we must eventually give up everything and return to the great unknown from which we spring. Surrender involves letting go of what we already know or have and letting be, opening to the situation that life presents. Many people distrust the notion of surrender because they confuse it with submission to another's will, which can in fact have disastrous consequences in a relationship. Submission means giving over power to someone else, putting the person above us while putting ourselves down. People often do this when they feel unworthy and no need of validation. An employee submits to his boss in order to gain recognition, favour, or a promotion. In a relationship, one partner might sacrifice his or her own true direction or path in life to win approval, acceptance, or simply peace and quiet. Of course, marriage does require real sacrifices. We cannot be as free and independent as we were before, and we are continually called upon to give, often at the most inconvenient times. Yet we should distinguish between two different kinds of sacrifice. When we knowingly choose to give up something for a greater good, this is conscious sacrifice, which helps us grow and thus empowers us. However, when we try to please or placate by blindly going along with someone or bending ourselves out of shape, this is neurotic sacrifice, a form of submission that only debilitates. In marriage, we can distinguish one from the other in the following way. Submission involves distorting who we are in order to win something in return. When we submit to someone, we give away our power and hope for the best. Surrender, on the other hand, requires discriminating awareness, recognizing a larger truth, or following a direction that leads towards greater aliveness rather than blind hope. When we surrender to what life situations call for, real power, which comes from beyond our personality, can enter us. While submission occurs out of inner weakness, genuine surrender can only happen out of a feeling strong enough to take a risk. The essential surrender in marriage is not to our partner as a finite personality. Instead, it involves opening ourselves to what the relationship has to teach us from day to day. As a marriage grows and develops, it provides continual opportunities to practice surrendering by yielding to our partner's wisdom and opening ourselves to learning from them in areas where they are more wise or healthy, by giving ourselves more fully to the relationship, or by letting go of fixed attitudes and positions that prevent love from flowing freely. We can usually tell that some kind of surrender is called for when our standard operating procedure is not working, and our partner, or the situation itself, is calling on us to give it up. This might involve something as simple as recognizing that we have acted in a hurtful or stubborn way and saying, "I'm sorry." Such moments provide rare and powerful opportunities to break out of old karmic patterns. The following examples illustrate three different kinds of surrender. Eric felt awkward in social situations while his wife Robin was more socially adept. At first, Eric tried to make his shyness the guideline for their relationships with the outside world. As a result, they spent very little time as a couple with other people. By forcing Robin to submit to his fears in an area where she was more involved than he was, Eric upset the natural hierarchy in their relationship, eventually creating a breach between them. After many fights, Eric finally saw that he needed to surrender to control and let her be his teacher in this area. Although yielding to her guidance brought up anxiety and uncertainty, it also forced him to extend himself in new ways. This broadened him and enriched their relationship. After 20 years of marriage, when a new depth of feeling opened up between Laura and her husband, following a tragic family incident, she began to see that she had never given herself fully to their relationship. Yet she was unsure whether she could take the risk involved in becoming more open to him. In her words, "I feel scared now that we have a new opportunity to be more open and loving together. I sense an immensity that I almost don't want to see or touch. It feels so immense that I could get carried away or lose myself in it. Talking about it makes it sound wonderful, but the actual feeling isn't. It's like a joy I almost don't want to permit myself. If I had that kind of joy, I'd be afraid it could get taken away. If I opened to Daniel, how could I rely on him to be there? What if he died? How could I bear to let myself be that vulnerable?" These are the questions of someone on the razor's edge, feeling both the fear and the excitement of opening to unknown possibilities. Laura had no guarantee that opening up with her husband would be safe, yet she made the choice to move in this direction because it led towards greater aliveness. Late one night, Alex and his wife reached an impasse in a fight they were having. She just wanted to go to bed while he was desperately worrying. "How can we work this out? If we love each other, why can't we solve this disagreement? If we can't resolve this, something must be wrong with our relationship. She should stick with this and not just go to bed." Yet the more he pressed for a resolution, the worse everything felt. In his words, "I didn't know what to do, so I just let the situation be and waited to see what would come of it, instead of trying to push through it, which was my usual style. This put me in a place where nothing made sense, where my ideas about how things should be were blown. I thought Donna was like this, and she's not. I thought our relationship was like that, and it's not. I thought I could resolve anything between us, and I can't." This was one of those rare times when I had to admit that I couldn't understand that life is bigger than what I could make out of it. Something snapped inside me. There was a moment of just letting go. Later, it was followed by a sense of gratitude. Our relationship is big enough to handle this. I'm so glad that I don't have to try to make everything right. I had discovered a new kind of trust. We went to bed, and the next day things felt much better between us. Surrendering for Alex in this situation meant not trying to push ahead with his customary ways of resolving differences, no matter how well it had worked before. Since the situation did not fit his usual logic, it was calling on him to back off and just let things be. Surrendering does not mean always going along with whatever is happening, nor does it mean that if a situation makes us angry, we should say to ourselves, "I shouldn't be angry, I should surrender." That would be suppressing ourselves, which could be a form of submission. If our usual pattern is to suppress our feelings, then maybe we need to surrender to our experience of anger. However, if our habitual style is to vent anger or use it to control others, then surrendering might mean putting our anger aside and approaching the situation in a more gentle way. In each of these examples, one partner's act of surrendering opened up a stuck point in their relationship. Eric, Laura, and Alex were being called on to let go of their standard operating procedures, which was frightening because it brought them to the edge of the unknown. Yet their willingness to open up at these moments invited a certain natural wisdom into the situation, revealing new directions just when things seemed most scary. New order was born from seeming chaos. New order was born from seeming chaos. Okay, that's it for today. Next part is Dimensions of Marriage. Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.